Hello everyone and welcome to my garage. Well, we recently moved into our new house. My old shop was almost twice the size of this one, and I had more freedom in how I arranged the machines, tools, and other materials. But here, I have to be smart and efficient with the design. I will keep you posted on that process. The main reason that I haven't started setting up the shop yet is that there are lots of projects to be done inside the house, one of which is building a coffee table. So I set up a temporary workbench on a set of sawhorses, and this is the maple cookie slab I'll be working on. I need to flatten this slab and I don't have full access to my machines. But even if I did, this piece of wood is beyond the capacity of my machines. Luckily, I happen to have just the right tool for it. This piece of equipment I'm unboxing is a router sled made by a company called SpeTool. They sent me this router sled along with a dust collection attachment and a router bit, and they asked me to use and review their product. So I thought this would be the perfect project and scenario to test it out. By the way, full disclosure, this is not a promotional video and I'm not getting paid for this. I told them I'll be honest in my review and verdict, and they were totally okay with it. However, in exchange, they offered me an affiliate commission, so if you decide to purchase the product using the link in the description, you will get a 10% discount and I will get a small commission. The package was very well packed and there was no damage to any parts. The assembly process is pretty straightforward, especially if you're familiar with how router sled work. You will pretty much know which part goes where. I have to say though, the assembly instructions weren't the best I've seen. Some sections were a bit vague and the images weren't large or clear enough. But overall, the process wasn't hard to manage. There are two base plates included in the kit and they're pre-drilled for different brands of routers. I use a Bosch 1617 EVS and I had no issues attaching the base plate. They were kind enough to send a flattening router bit as well, and this bit is an absolute monster. It has 4 carbide cutters that slice through wood like a hot knife through butter. The nice thing about carbide cutters is that when one side gets dull, you can just rotate it and get a fresh edge. I had to remove the base plate later because they also sent me a dust collection system which comes with its own base plate, and I didn't know that at first. Next, make sure the sled is rolling freely on its wheels with nothing obstructing its path. One of the great features of this router sled is its height adjustment steps. That means when your router is lowered all the way down and is no longer cutting, you can lower the entire sled one step and then continue cutting. This allows you to work with materials of different thicknesses without having to make major adjustments. When setting up your slab, it's better to wedge any gaps to prevent the slab from rocking. Then use the included holding claws to secure the slab to your workbench and keep it from moving. Once everything is assembled and secured, you're ready to go. You'll want to set the height just below the highest point of your stock. Then you move across the stock from right to left or left to right and front to back. Then return to your starting point, lower the router bit no more than 1/16 of an inch, and repeat the process until the entire surface is flat. Then flip the slab to flatten the other side. If you have ever flattened a slab using this method, you know that it produces a crazy amount of sawdust. This dust collection system does an okay job of collecting the dust, but it does a fantastic job of containing it, which I think is even more important. To be fair, I'm using a shop vac here. Maybe if I had my dust collector set up, the result would have been better. Another area that could use a little improvement is the wheels. Don't get me wrong, the wheels themselves work great and roll smoothly. But sometimes when you're routing the ends of the slab, sawdust can shoot out, accumulate, and create bumps under the wheels. If you go over those bumps, it can result in an uneven surface, so you need to clean the sawdust with a brush or blower regularly. Other than that, I'm very impressed with the performance and cut quality of this router sled. After flattening, I sanded both surfaces starting with 80 grit and worked my way up to 180. Then I used my angle grinder, orbital sander, routery tool, and every sanding attachment that I had to smooth the edges, tight corners, and holes. For the finish, I used Rubio Monocoat. I first applied the walnut version on the bottom side, but I didn't like the result. So for the top, I used the original, and I really like the natural color of the wood. Overall, this project went really well and I'm happy with the result, especially considering the current state of my shop. I'm also really impressed with the performance of this router sled. It's very sturdy, glides smoothly, and I will definitely be using it in the future projects. Using this is way easier than building one yourself, and it offers more versatility when working with different thicknesses. I will leave a link in the description. You will get a 10% discount if you decide to get one for your shop using that link. Make sure to stick around until the end for some photos of the final product. And once again, thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.